Good morning all, and I warmly welcome you all to the fourth day of BIS Career LaunchPad Workshop Series 2022. To begin with, I would like to invite Dr. Mahesh Fernando to welcome you all and address the gallery. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Rasantika. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning to you all. First of all, a very good morning to Mr. Ranjit Fernando, who is a guest speaker today, as well as the invited speakers of the alumni of the Department of Information Technology and the students, those who are joining with the event. And I believe this is the third event that we have for the direction of internships and how that we need to groom our students for the internship from the department. What we are doing is as the with the support of the coordination and the organization of Professor Lasik, we have planned this for this is the second consecutive year that we are preparing students for the internship. And I know that though we said many things, although we try to teach them and we give them the guidance, but the students will always identify or need to identify the opportunities out there in the industries. Therefore, I believe with this sort of events, they will probably identify the things they are outside and the opportunities that they have in the outside environment after they graduate, what areas that they can move into, and to identify different ways that they can improve themselves with the support of the department. Therefore, this event or this sort of a workshop, we always think that it benefited to the students, and I hope the effort that we put will get the maximum benefit by the students. And I always appreciate the appearance of the alumni, those who get start from the department and now they are in good positions in outside, and their encouragement and their involvement with the department activities, I always appreciate as the head of the department. And I welcome you all again for the event, and I believe that today it would be a good experience to you. This is experience presenters are here, and it will be benefited to you, and enjoy the day and get maximum out of this event. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Before moving on, it's my pleasure to introduce you all our keynote speaker for the fourth day of our workshop series. Mr. Ranjit Fernando is the Managing Director, co-founder of Forespring Private Limited. He completed executive education in strategic use of information technology at Stanford University Graduate School of Business. And also, he is volunteered in BCS, the Chartered Institute for IT, Sri Lankan section, as a chairman in 2019. Mr. Ranjit Fernando, we warmly welcome and hand over today's session to you, sir.
Thanks, Rasangika. Thanks, Rasangika, and thank you all for inviting me. Let me just share my screen. And you all can see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Right, okay. So my lecture is basically on, I'm hoping to give you guys some advice, and I hope it will be useful to you all, especially for, like, this is basically for people who are aspiring to be software engineers. I know some of you all in the audience are aspiring to do different things, but I hope that I'll be able to change some of your minds and also tell you guys on what is available and what is there. Let me start with today's date. It's like 7th July, and today it's like a good day for the IT industry, because like there was a launch of a Mars rover called MER-1 in 2003 on the 7th of July. And it landed in Mars and it was in operation. And there were no software bugs that killed that particular system. So like you guys are now, software engineering is a very, very important area, and it's a very responsible job. There are many successes due to software engineering, many failures due to software engineering. And I'm going to start with a small introduction about myself so that you get some sort of a context to what I'm saying. Right? I was in the Colombo University long time back, traveling from Kiribati to Colombo on a to university on a 154, 5 rupees a ticket at that time. And we have this, we live basically on plenty in the canteen, and there was the lunch was there was a chicken lunch for 6 rupees where they somehow managed to cut a chicken neck to 4, and you get you get 1/4 of a chicken neck as a chicken lunch. So I had a very enjoyable time back then in the Colombo University. In this, I couldn't find many photographs of this. That's why this is one of the photographs I found. Ideally, I would have liked to have a fun photograph, but this was what is available. This is the Sports Council at 92. And during my university years, I worked. I worked for DMS Software Engineering. I worked for currently EVIS. It was called, it was a East-West Training Center at that time. I was teaching C and Pascal languages. And then also, I used to develop software for companies when I was an undergraduate. I had a small company with a friend of mine, and so basically company means at that time you need a PC and to be able to write programs to start something, and these were early days in computing. Today, of course, you all don't even need the computer to start something on your own. So I used to program in a language called FoxPro, and I used to sell software while as an undergraduate, and most of my career, almost every day of my life during my undergraduate days, I did a part-time job earning. I was not dependent on my parents' income. So I have been in the software industry from about 1987 onwards, started at this place called NIBM. That was the only place to do IT at that time. Got a diploma, started working, got a job. Then due to JVP issues, the universities were closed for quite some time. So I started working. It was about to start, about to close, about to. So what happened is because of that, it was difficult to leave the job. So I ended up working towards university. And after university, I moved into a company called eCode Lanka Software. I was the first employee there. So we developed software in a language called Micronetic MUMS first. It's a 3rd generation hierarchical database where we did, this was a Belgian company. I did Y2K. That was a big issue in the 90s, where year 2000, there were a lot of errors in software programs where it was 4 digits first. There were 2 digits, and people didn't expect it to go to the next century. So I'm not sure. I think you already heard of these Y2K problems. I developed software, modifying software on the Y2K thing. Then I modified and did software for the Euro conversion. So the European zone was established back then. Thereafter, I moved into MAS Holdings as IT manager for Slimline. And in Slimline, I was involved in Sri Lanka's first SAP project, where we got Tata Consulting down at Slimline, and then we started the project. I was not the project manager there, but I was responsible for the development in a language called ABAP. So thereafter, I was in different positions at MAS. So MAS became MAS Intimate. They put companies together. Finally, I headed IT applications for MAS Holdings, and I have also been interviewing people from about 19 89, 1990 onwards from my first job itself at East West. And even today I interview people for technical jobs. And I feel some of the mistakes they did back then are the same mistakes they do now. So let me go on to the next slide. Okay. So today, this is like almost 35 or 40 years later. I work for a company called Forespin Analytics. What we do is we do forensic data analysis for companies. So companies like John Keel's Holdings, 43 other companies. You have Ceylon Biscuits, Haymas, companies like that. We look at transactions and find transactional outliers. So what we do is we help companies find unusual transactions using a lot of mathematics and statistics, and we help companies prevent fraud. So companies using our product have changed about $30 million of their transactions based on our alerts. So last year I spoke at although I'm in the IT field, I spoke at the Chartered Accountants Conference in terms of fraud and what we've identified using IT. I also play a little bit of chess. On the photo, I think the girl I'm playing with is Javadanapura University graduate. She, I think, graduated. Manisha Gunaratna graduated, I think, last year. She's a good chess player. And so I've been doing a lot of different things. I've worked as a programmer on different languages. I worked as project manager in different projects. Worked in restructuring IT organizations, reorganizing IT organizations, then worked as an ABAP consultant. So now I'm almost towards my retirement age, and I thought, okay, maybe I should I get involved, give lectures in different forums as well. I'm going to start my lecture with, so my name is Ransit, with a question for you all to ponder during my lecture, so that if you find it a little boring, you will be able to think about this. I'm not expecting to give an answer. So my name is Ransit, and if you take Ransit, you can make, let's say there are some words below that. You have shit, ship, this, sit, at, and act. So if I take my name, I can make this word out of the name. I can make this out of my name. I can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words in this list from a subset of my name. Now, if you take the second thing, shit, here, from this you can make 2 other words. And if you take this, you could make this word by moving the characters around and or taking a subset of characters. Now I would like to make this whole thing a little interactive. Now can you put your mics on and tell me whether you understood this question or whether you have any questions about my question. This is for the students, right? The students who are there. So we have 55 participants. I'm hoping at least so don't worry. I can only hear your sound, and there are no wrong answers. Either you understand this or you don't understand this. Can somebody put your mic on and I don't know whether you could put a hand up. No, I don't think I put a hand up, right? Anyone?
Sir, can you repeat the question, please?
Sure, of course. So basically, now my name is Ransit, right? So now you have, if you take Ransit, now there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 7 words here, right? Starting with my name. So Ransit, there's shit, this, sit, the hat, and that. So what I want to do is like you're given an input of these names. You're supposed to find the names in this list that can be made like now. So if I take Ransit, you can take subset of the letters and make the word shit because there's a S and a I and a T and a H. Right? So then that means you can make shit out of as a subset of, so out of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 words, this word can be made from a subset of these words. Now, okay, let me ask you a question. Now, can you make ship, the word ship, out of a subset of these words from Ransit? Can somebody answer that? So again, it's a yes, no answer. It's either yes or no.
No, sir.
No, because the thing is there is a P here. There is a P here and there is no P in Ransit, so you can't make ship out of it. So you can make ship but not ship. Can you make this out of it, out of Ransit? I want somebody else to answer.
Yes, sir, we can.
We can, because it's like, so there is T and a H and a I and a S, and you take the I this way and S this way, you can make that word. Can you make sit? Yes, you can. Can you make hat? There's a H and a and a T. Yes, you can. Can you make hat? Yes, you could, right? Now, if you take, so if you take this first word, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, out of these 7 words, you take the first word, you can make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words from this first word out of the words given. Now, if you take this word, second word, shit, can somebody answer, can you make ship out of it? From this word, taking a subset of the letters in this word? Can one of the students answer, please?
No, sir. No.
Right. Okay. Now let me see. Okay. Can you make? No, you can't. Right. So there is no like. So you from the word here you can't put ship, but you can make this and sit. Similarly, for ship, there are no other words. If you take a subset of ship, you can't make sit or hat or act, or you can't make a word that is larger. So there is nothing you can make. So it's like 0 here. Okay? So what I want you to do is like my question is these. So given 7 words, you need to find the words that can be made out of the word from each of these words. So for this word, what are the words you can make? For this word, what are the words you can make by mixing the letters around or making a subset of the words? Right. Is there anyone? I'm going to stop sharing for the moment, and I'm going to get you all on the screen. Now, can you all put your can you put your cameras on so that I can just see your faces? Can you? I'm not sure whether you all can put your cameras on. If possible, just put your cameras on so that I can see your faces. Right. So we are finding 1 or 2 cameras coming on. So Madhusha, Sashini, Yashoda. Sandali, right? Okay. Did you all understand this whole? Did you all understand the question? And you all thought you all are going to 10 a.m. in the morning, listen to this and then sleep off, putting the cameras on, and you thought you were going to be fun. Yeah, anyone? Is the question clear? Okay. Okay. Has anyone got the answer? Anyone who can figure out how this can be done? So, if you don't find the answer, don't worry about it. That's the whole reason what this lecture is all about. I'm going to now share my screen back again. Yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So, just to set some context right, if you take the word, now you all call yourself, like some people call themselves software engineer, some would be programmer, some goes as developer, some go as hacker, some go as coder. You can call yourself by different names, but typically your job is going to be giving, it's the art of giving instruction to the computer in a logical sequence where the computer can understand. So for example, in that last question I asked, what happens is like, okay, if you want to instruct a computer to do this, you need to be able to logically give, like put everything onto a sequence and then give instructions to a machine to use it. And it's not easy as it seems, because there is like, you should be able to clearly figure out how that is done. So this is like, so whether it's software engineering, programmers, developers, hackers, coders, this is what we do. Now what I've seen, some of the things what I've seen is like, if you have like a diploma, you're hired as a programmer. If you have like a maybe a degree or taken as a software engineer, sometimes a developer, some people call them a consultant. It can be different name, but it's programming. And the core of the job is programming or giving instructions on a logical sequence. So in terms of software engineering or programming, there are, when you go in for jobs, typically there are the options that I see here is one, you can think of looking at a global tech company. For example, maybe like Google or like Facebook or Slack, or there are different global companies that hire tech people, and there are some jobs that you can do remotely as well. There are Jawaharlal universities I know who like gone and do work in some of these global tech companies. Another option is you can start your own company. Then there are, in Sri Lanka, there are IT outsourcing companies, that is companies that will take some sort of a task and then do that particular task for a company. For example, somebody says, okay, I wanted to develop a website, they'll do a website. Then somebody says, I want to have an e-commerce site, they'll do an e-commerce site. I want to do something on like machine learning and data analytics, they'll do something on machine learning. So they will outsource work, or they might hire you out to another company as like an additional staff from Sri Lanka. That's like a third option I see. Then there are Sri Lankan IT product companies where they have made one product and then they sell the product. And if you join the company, you will be like either improving the product, changing the product. You'll be working on a single or in multiple products. There are also some companies that do outsourcing, but call themselves product companies because they develop products for others. I mean, you can't really call them a product company here. What I mean is, the product is something that they develop and then they sell. So this is also a good option. Then you have jobs for software engineering, non-IT company. For example, I work at MS Holdings, a non-IT company, pays very well, treats everybody really well, and there are lots and lots of opportunities. Then you can also work as an independent contractor. Sometimes you can work from day one as independent contractor where you do different programming tasks. Or you can work in one or two companies and then become independent contractor. That's also an option. So for software engineering, these are some of the options that I see, right? And my lecture is all about seeing whether I can inspire you all to try to get into global tech companies or try to start your own IT company. And I'll tell you why. But other options are also fine. Non-IT companies are fine. SL, like Sri Lankan IT companies are fine. Being independent, everything is fine. But the first two are pretty challenging, but the rewards are higher. Now, in terms of software engineering, some of the old software engineering problems are still valid. Something like, for example, this guy wrote about the art of war, like say long time back, and some of the stuff that is there is still valid. If you take the book Machiavelli, some of the stuff that is there in it is still valid. And similarly, there is a book called Mythical Man Month, Essays on Software Engineering, written in 1975 about problems they had in the 1960s developing the IBM 360 system. And basically, some of those software problems are still valid. And but in this thing, in the whole book, what he highlights is the main issue is in communication. So if you have a chance, read this particular book, Mythical Man Month. It's a lovely book, and it will also inspire you and make you understand some of the issues that are there in terms of engineering. Now, you all are right now doing a degree, and some of you are completing a degree, and you all will be going out to the job market. And some of you all would be, I think, under the impression that, okay, I have a degree and I need to get a job, and I should get a job because, like, okay, batchmates of mine get this amount, and this amount. But what I would say is, you can teach yourself. Like, I mean, degree will have a syllabus and stuff, but IT programming is such a wide field and so many things to do. You have to do a lot of stuff on your own, where ideally, like things like programming, you can learn on your own. You can learn programming languages on your own. You can learn data structures on your own, and you need to practice this, right? So these are some of the examples of people who have learned IT when they were kids, and then learn. So I think the person on the right hand side of the screen, you all should recognize. He was like a co-founder of a very large company. Anyone?
So is one of the co-founders of Apple, Steve Wozniak.
Absolutely, right? So he started programming when he was 10, and then so now some of you are of course not 10, but then you need to do this as a hobby. Like, I mean, programming, if you want to do software engineering, like, and if you want to be good at it, you need to be able to don't just do only your coursework or what is given. Do additional stuff and make it a fun thing that is interesting. Try to do something useful. Anyone can tell me who is on the bottom left hand side?
So if I'm not mistaken, is Jack Dorsey, founder of Twitter.
Absolutely. He is in Twitter, and previously where was he? You can read up on him. Again, learn programming on his own, and started like they develop companies, again learning. So you can learn programming definitely on your own and do a lot of work on your own, right? Anyone who can give the names of the top two guys? This is of course a little tougher than the other two. Any guesses like? Their company is worth 97 billion US dollars. They, I think, started in this company in 2015. These are two brothers. So basically, this is 2022. So this might be you in 2030 one day, where, okay, it's like now it's 2015, 7 years, it's $97 billion. So they started this company called Stripe. So what they made is they made internet payments really, really easy, where you can previously, before Stripe, if you try to do some internet transaction, they ask your name, they ask if you're sure, they ask your email, they ask if they're absolutely sure. Do you want to make a payment? Are you sure? So they cut a lot of those crap and they made a very easy program called Stripe that's like very, very large in the US. They are the Collusion brothers, right? So my message from this is like, okay, if you think that you have to be taught everything, you're mistaken. You got to learn a lot of stuff on your own, because like I mean, university degrees will have syllabuses and it can't put everything that is there. But if you learn things for fun, you can do a hell of a lot more with your careers. Now, for example, now let's say you're running your 100 meters, and if somebody is going to teach you how to run 100 meters, the amount of time that is taken to teach you that is very little. For example, probably you say, okay, you start at this line and you run as fast as possible to the other end. Thereafter, there'll be like techniques on how to improve it. Right? While if you take the amount of practice you need to do the 100 meters and you want to be really good at it, that is like years and years of practice. You have to get up early morning, you have to run, you have to build up your muscles, you have to do lots and lots of practice till you become, if you want to become really, really good. So there's a book written by called Outliers. I don't know if any of y'all have heard of it. A guy called Malcolm Gladwell, who basically said that if you want to be successful, extremely successful at a where you're competing at a world level, you have to have like 10,000 hours of practice. So this is like the whole gist of the particular book. It's about practice, and practice. Right? Now, sometimes people assume like when it comes to software engineering, you do your data structures thing in your in the university course, and then you do the exam, and then you know data structures, or you do your introduction to programming, you do your like Java or something else for C, and say, okay, now I know programming. It's like, if I take an analogy, it's like, say, learning how to run the 100 meters, where you say, okay, this is the point you start and this is the point you end, and you run. But there is a hell of a lot more practice that needs to be done. So if you're a programmer, there's a hell of a lot of theory that is there. And then you have to be able to practice to be able to understand all of this. Like not all of this, we will understand only some of them here, but you have hours and hours of practice which you have to do on your own, and you need to read books and stuff like that. So now, one of the things we see now is like, and back then was, those days there was a lack of material. If you want to do computer science, you have to go to like a library, get a book, read the thing, then you have to like find a computer from somewhere, because there were hardly any laptops. You have to get access, and then you have to try your programs out. It doesn't work, you need to try. So one of the barriers to learning those days was the lack of material. While now one of the barriers to learn is the availability of material. Now, if I tell you today, can you do some sort of a algorithm, and I'll give you like some sort of a name for an algorithm, it will take you, like by evening, you will be able to tell me what that particular algorithm does, how that particular, how it works, what it is used for. You'll have like a program working which is ready. Now, the reason is because that is already available. You have YouTube videos that are available. You can copy the code from somewhere. Code is already available. There are instructions that are available. There are introductory videos that are available. So you can put something up. Say, so your motivation to really learn the thing sort of goes down. Like there is no, not like, I mean, get all the information, right? But then again, you don't like, although you read that and you have your presentation, you're not really, doesn't really go in unless you try the thing out, figure out what are the mistakes that are there, and learn on your own. So for example, sometimes I've heard people saying, saying, oh, I implemented it, but there seems to be some sort of a error that is coming, but I'm not sure what it is. The reason is they've taken the code, put somebody else's code, run the thing, but they don't really understand the core of why the thing is working. Now, even like if you take machine learning, there are so many machine learning libraries, you can do a lot of stuff without really understanding machine learning. So you have to practice programming, practice, and practice. If you want to be like a good software engineer, need to practice. Typically, like, so this whole software engineering, I believe, is based on different types of data structures and how these data structures are used in terms of algorithms, different types of algorithms that are available. So I have put a whole book, Algorithms plus Data Structures equals Programs. Now, this book, which is on the left-hand side, might be worthwhile because like the languages that are used in this book is no longer available. So you have to then write these programs on your own. Algorithms, this is also, I don't know whether you have done this for your syllabuses. I'm sure you have done some really good algorithm books. This is also a good book, but then again, all the like information that is there is available in this. And this, in this particular algorithm book, it has the interviewing section where you want to, it'll tell you from popular, like large, like global IT companies, some of the questions they would ask when they are doing recruitment. Of course, these things change, but then you get a good idea of, because when you are going in, if you want to get into a top global IT company, they'll interview you and you will ask, there'll be a technical interview and they'll ask you questions based on algorithm and data structures, and you need to be able to answer this. So to do that by reading this is not enough. You have to practice, and practice. Now I'm going to give you the answer to the question I asked earlier. Can I like, okay, now can I ask you, again, I'm going to now stop sharing this. So let me figure out how do I do that here. Okay. So can anyone give an answer to the question I asked? You can put your mics on now. Anyone? Yeah, I would like to hear some kind of a response, even like an answer like, okay, we haven't figured it out, that's fine. These like I want the student to answer, not the staff members, the students. Okay, let me now tell you something easy to. Can you put your mics on? Then I know at least who are the people who are there and who are like maybe giving their dog a bath or planting manioca for the next season. Can you all just put your mics on, please? Not the camera, just put the mic on so that I know. Okay, so we have Kasun who's listening, or at least who's there, can put the mic on. We have Dinali. What the hell is happening to others? Thamali, Isuranga, then 229. No, not 229. Okay, Hansani. Let me see the others. Just put your mic on so that then I know you guys are there and not planting manyokka for the. Okay, Chaturi. Okay. What happened to the others? Yeah. Just put your mic on. That's all. That's all. You don't have to answer me. Just put a mic on so that I know you guys are there. It's like a fact check for me in the middle so that I know like all these. Rashmi, Kamali. Don't all hear me, right? I'm sure you hear me. Okay. So let me get back again and to sharing the screen. So I'm sure most of you all, at least a lot of you all, would have found it difficult to answer that question. If you found it easy to answer the question, you will definitely inform one of those global tech companies. If you found it difficult, is exactly my point. You need to be able to read more in terms of programming and practice. So this particular problem, or actually at least similar problem, comes from a book called Programming Pearls from an author called John Bentley. This Programming Pearls, I don't know whether any of you all are members of ACM, Association of Certified Machinery. It's the American Computer Association that that is one of the oldest computer associations in the world. There are like you can also have students. If you want to have a Java Pura student chapter, you can have student chapters, and there was a series of articles in ACM magazines, and those are collected up and written in a form of book called Programming Pearls, and this is one of the problems that came in that. Okay. Now, this one other book on the left called Algorithm Design Manual by Stephen Sakina. The third edition was released in 2020. The first edition was released in 1998. That basically has, again, not theory, like various programming questions. So if you all are like, so the answer to my question lies in these books. I'm sure some of these may be there at your library. If not, try to get the thing, try to read them and program these, try these out and see. These are two books I would recommend for anyone if you want to go for tech interview to read. There is also a book called Cracking the Programming Interview, which is of course easier. So I'm not sure the pronunciation is right. Haya, Udaya, and Ajbad Masad. Anyone to whom these names are familiar? Typically, a lot of the 16-year-olds know these names. So they are founders of a company called Replit. It was founded in 2016. And what Replit does is it allows you to basically on a website to code in. Right now, it's about 53 different languages. The last time I looked at it, it was something like 45 different languages. So you basically like you want to do like it in Java, C, and Python, you don't have to have like a Java compiler, C compiler, and a Python compiler. That was the way we used to do it those days. But now you just go to Replit site, you just create an account, and you create the language you want to program in, and then you have like a window to write the program. Then there's a window that gives you the output, and there's another window that will give you your errors. So using Replit, you will be able to. So what I would suggest is try algorithms and data structure. Use Replit to try out your code so that you can understand. So typically your code is just one method, like the coding or programming language should be independent of your programming. If you know programming, you should be able to learn any language on your own and do it. So learning programming is like riding a bicycle. So now, for example, like if you can ride a bicycle, like you should not have to say I can ride a rally bicycle, I can ride a PM bicycle, or I can ride a Kenstar bicycle. The brand of the bicycle or a racing bike doesn't matter. Programming is also like that. Once you learn it, you know programming, and programming is something you don't really forget. Like once you know the basic logic. So programming is basically giving instructions to a computer in an easy way, but you have to have a hell of a lot of practice before you master art. Right? So, so this Replit.com will become like, I feel it will become pretty big before long. Use this and try some stuff out. And you also have to learn a thing called GIT, Git. So this Git software it's an open source software for version control. So you have Bitbucket, GitHub, there are different implementations of it. This is where your version control problem gets solved. So you have to get like a Git account. Like you have to learn Git. So if you are going in for a global job, if your idea is to start on your own, or if you want to use a global tech company, do what I said earlier, like learn programs, practice, and you can practice your programming also using a thing called HackerRank and LeetCode. These are sites where you can create an account and you can start. They will give you various questions where you can program them till you get better at it. Now, once you get better at it, there is also ACM. There's a collegiate programming competition where all the universities take part. This is like the IEEE programming competition. There is a thing called IOI, International Olympiad in Informatics Programming Competition. Look at some of the questions that are there in those. But before that, look at some of those algorithm books, try some on your own, create a HackerRank account, LeetCode account, and do programming. This is how because if you want to go into a global tech company, first thing is you have to be really good at your programming and algorithm. There are other things like, well, for example, if you want to get into Amazon.com, they look at stuff like a thing called bias to action, where whether you will learn about 80% of the stuff and whether you start doing things. Then there are where they have they have various leadership pillars: learn and be curious, ownership, whether you take ownership for stuff. All those things come secondary. The primary thing is your like programming and coding skills. Yeah? Now, you don't have to get into like a global tech company. You can also get into like a local tech company. In those also, you will have like technical questions. So your like time spent on programming practicing won't go waste. Slash.com put out a survey on debut yesterday in terms of employability skills. So Slash.com is a Sri Lankan organization of companies that do outsourcing. So they have said the top 5 languages currently in use are JavaScript, SQL, Java, C#, and Python. Again, so 91, so this is like how it works out is you have if you have 100 respondents, each person is asked whether you're using JavaScript, SQL, Java, C#, Python, and then they mark all the people who tick JavaScript. So out of, say, if there are 100 companies, they have, like, I think they have taken 50 companies. So if it's 100 companies, 91 of them have said they're using JavaScript. If you take the 100 companies, SQL, like 84% of them have said they're using SQL. So this is just to give you an idea of the Sri Lankan software market. And again, like when asked like what would be the next top 5 programming language to be used in the next 18 months, I think here they give the wish list like Go, Ruby, R, Python, and Perl. So I think like if it's local job with JavaScript, SQL, Java, C#, Python, all these things can be learned on Replit. And also like do something useful on your CV. Like don't only like do only your university group courses and individual courses and put them. Like maybe write a program for a neighbor, maybe write a program for like a website for somebody selling something, maybe do some sort of programming thing or a personal project on your own that adds a hell of a lot of value if you give the reason and the code and probably links to the code. Now, this is also quite an eye-opener for graduates. So this is like companies that have been interviewed in Sri Lanka. Failure to fill graduate vacancy positions. The things that they've answered saying lack of availability of graduates, supply shortage. So they have said like there is like 17% have said there is a shortage of supply, while 34% have picked saying graduates are available yet inadequate, incompatible technical skill level. So this is basically again, it depends from company to company. The question they'll ask you might be different. But in most companies, there'll be some sort of algorithmic things, and improving that area helps. Then there's another set of companies that says their soft skill levels are inadequate, about 22%. So, and then incompatible salary expectations of graduates. Sometimes what happens is in a batch, in your previous batch, you might find one guy who's an outlier, who's extremely good, who sort of gets like a massive salary, and then everybody else the following year thinks they can all get the same salary. It doesn't really happen because some companies, when they have a particular task and let's say there is something they have to hire a person by this particular date, they'll hire the person at whatever cost because they need a project or something to be completed. Sometimes you may be plain lucky, the person may not even be really good, but he may get hired, and you might think, okay, I'm much better than this person, I must get a higher salary. So you have to have reasonable expectations, right? Again, don't worry too much here. What I would say is just go for what you get, and thereafter keep jumping ship and getting higher salaries, because when you're employed, it's a lot easier to get a better job than when you're just out of the university. So then there's also like a 2% companies that are taken decision to cut down on staff and other reasons. And if you take the number of new graduate hires where they are going to plan over the next 12 months, a lot of people have responded that it's going to be less than 89%. And if you look at how much they've hired versus how much they are planning to hire, the number planning to hire are a lot less in terms of percentages. So obviously there is a war in Ukraine. There are petrol shortages here. Companies are struggling. So it's a bad time to get into the sector. So therefore, you're improving your algorithmic and programming skills will definitely help. It is definitely better also to try to get global jobs because of this the current situation in the country. So your software errors can be extremely dangerous. So like, I mean, some people feel, okay, you make a mistake, then somebody tells you, you can correct it, right? So you should be able to write code that do not have mistakes, and there are massive amounts of dangerous, like loss of life due to software errors. Right? Sometimes these get covered up, and these are not in small companies. These happen even in some of the largest companies. Right? So you got to learn, practice, and practice is the only way of getting over this. Right? When we started, we said there was a Mars rover landing today, and there are about 8 different spacecrafts that were developed to explore space have crashed due to software errors. That's like a massive cost, and sometimes this is because like you have put a semicolon where you need to put a full stop type errors, which is one human error, right? So software is a very responsible job. It's a very responsible thing, line to which you're going to. So build up that knowledge, and I hope I have inspired at least one of you all from the group to try and get into a global company, right? You can always connect with me on LinkedIn. I sort of accept everybody who sort of connects with me, and you can like reach out to me if you have any questions. And if one of you all join a top global company, do let me know, right? So I have one final slide. Before that, I would like to take questions. Prasangika, do we take the question now or is it later? Like, how does it happen?
I think we'll take some questions now. We have the alumni session coming up later, but so then you'll be free to leave. So we take questions now, and maybe anyone can post it directly or type it on the chat.
Okay, so I'll just stop sharing.
So I have some questions.
Sure.
In terms of starting a company, since you are a co-founder,
Yes.
how did you manage to find the first capital investment into your startup or a company?
Right. Okay. So, for example, for me, we are bootstrapped, that is, we are self-funded. So basically, like, okay, if you're beginning your career, yes, you need to look at funding. But late in your career, it is better to go without funding, where you fund it on your own. Then you have your full ownership, right? Now, first thing I can advise you is, if you're starting a company and you have a question of funding, you're absolutely on the wrong track. Because if you're starting a company, you can get free credits from, like, you can do your programming on your phone. If you have a phone, or if you have a computer, you can do it on your computer, or you can like maybe take some lab time from the university computer and you can still develop a program. You can get free credits in terms of Azure, Google. There are so many servers that will give you free credit. But what you have to do is you have to first find a problem that which is somebody's problem that you need to solve. And I think that is where you get users, and that is the part that is hard. So if you can't try to create a company that will solve somebody else's problem, right? So in my opinion, if you're looking for funding, because anybody who is going to fund you is going to look at how are they going to make money and how are they going to make profits. So don't look at like the funding part of it. Try to do something. Try to make a program that works. Now, some of the examples of programs that people have made is, there is some set of people who made programs that will allow you to do bookings on buses that go to outstation. That's a huge problem for everybody, where you need to take a like bus to Jaffna someplace. You need to get tickets. So there are that type of thing. If there is a need, and then like it is easy to become successful. Now, another method of doing it is you take a model of a thing that is done extremely well overseas. Now, there are certain programs that like startups that have been extremely successful in the US, where you copy the thing verbatim, one to one, you copy everything, and then you build a model, and then it's easy. Then you can also get funding because everything is available. For example, if you start something like now, if you take Uber, you have like Uber became very successful, but for Uber to start, it was tough. But once Uber started, thereafter somebody can use that exact business model and start something. But then again, like when you do that again, if you're like undergraduate and you're looking for funding, then like here, like not here, in all other places, people try to give you like a very, very small percentage and try to get a very large portion of your shareholding. So find a problem that is unique, find a problem that needs answers, and find a problem that people are willing to pay for. So one way of doing that is you can ask people, you can interview people and ask, ask them how much they'll pay for if they have that solution. Because unless there are people who are committed to pay, don't start something. That would be my advice. Sorry, I think I took a lot of time answering that.
Thank you, sir. I have another question. So what are the problems that you have encountered in the early days when you're starting your company?
What did you say? Tell me again. What are the?
I mean, what are the problems that you have encountered in the early stage of your company?
Well, now the product we developed is like what we do is outlier detection. What we found out is, again, we worked at MA, like I worked at MA Holdings, and like we had a lot of analytics products, and we found that people make a lot of mistakes, and we felt that it is difficult to correct. So ours is not a B2C company, it's a B2B company. So basically companies, the customers of our companies would be companies. So it will be like CFOs and IT departments that will be buying our product. So the challenges we had in our early days was, one is like getting customers, because the product was expensive and we were looking at some of the best companies in Sri Lanka. So we had an advantage because we already had good relationships, because when you work, I had for example, if you take Ramesh Amuganathan and John P, both of us, like when he was undergraduate, I was undergraduate, we worked together, we done BCS together. So we had a lot of internal contacts, so that helped. Biggest problem we encounter is getting our first customers or getting paying customers. Now the issue is, if you're developing something and ask somebody whether it's a good idea, everybody says that's like a fantastic idea. Another problem we encountered is we got a partner from the US, again another friend of mine, who said he said it to like 20 different companies in the US, but then again that didn't really work out. So sometimes you have various disappointments, and this is not due to his fault. There are market changes, so many things that happen, right? So you have to grind at it, and the rewards are high, but you have to be able to work on your own. So the challenges are, again, like challenges then is that challenges now is also getting sales, and also the time taken to do a sale. That's also a challenge. Sometimes you expect to go talk, do a sale, but sometimes it drags on and on and on, especially on B2B, business to business. Business to consumer is a different thing. Did I answer your question, Kiranta?
Yes, sir, perfectly. I have one last question.
Sure.
So is there any think tanks in Sri Lanka that we can get any advice regarding the tech startups? I mean, other than ICTA.
So there is the Sri Lankan Lankan Angel Network. So Lankan Angel Network, I was a member in 2012 as they started. So you have these people who have, like, you pay $60,000 a year to become a member of LAN, and then you can go with an idea, and they will, like, if they like the idea, they will fund it. So even today, if you want to get funding, you can go to the Lankan Angel Network. They'll give you 15 minutes to pitch your idea. You got to say how you write the program, how you're going to make money, and then they will tell them what amount of money they want and what percentage. So there they will basically give you advice, and they will give you money as well. So LAN is one such thing, and I think Lankan Angel Network. There are something called MIT Startup Labs, where the MIT University did a program here. They don't do it anymore. There are also like places like EY. There are a lot of startup labs in which you can get advice. For example, if you go to the Y Combinator site, there are lots of videos and really, really good advice that are there. Have you been to Y Combinator startup labs?
No, sir. No.
Okay, so there's a thing called Y Combinator startup labs. You can look it up. There are hundreds of videos of people who started out. These are people who are really started companies. They made money and they want to teach something. For example, founders of Dropbox, founders of Airbnb, how they started, how they first rented out their bedroom. All of those stories are there. Like they have different partners. There's a guy called Paul Graham who founded a company. I think somewhere around 1996 called View Apps or something that allowed you to create websites. Then he later on sold it for $50 million to Yahoo and started a thing called Y Combinator where they help founders. Now, if Y Combinator has a program, I try to get into Y Combinator, but we were in the top 10% of the companies, but we failed. They take about 1 to 3% of the companies that apply. There they give you $150 of $150 for 7% of your company's equity, and that's just given as a check. So, like if you take $150,000 in Sri Lankan rupees, that will give you like that comes to a huge amount. But you need to have a very clear business idea on how you are going to do it. Right? So, if you want to start a company, my thing is just write the programs and try to start selling it to somebody. Giving it free is also no use because people just take it. And when you're given something free, people log in, do things, they say it's really nice, give you good reviews, but you have to develop something where people pay for it from day one. Iranta, did I answer that question? Is it?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you very much, sir.
So Y Combinator is a good thing. Just check all the videos out.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
So I think I have eaten up into everybody's time. So I will not put that last slide in, but last slide is basically what I want to do is there anyone who has changed your mind and want to try to apply to a top, like you will learn your algorithms and try to apply to a top global company or start something on your own? Can you give me like, put your mic off and give me a yes if there is anyone.
Or they could raise their hands on the Zoom.
Yeah. So I think I'll have to learn how to become more inspiring. So I haven't inspired anybody. Are there one person who sort of put their hand, two people who put their hands up? Good. Not bad. So that's like a 4% influence taking the out that other. Right? So thank you. Right. And thank you very much for inviting me.
Thank you, sir, for joining us today, despite having busy time schedule and sharing your valuable knowledge and experience with us today. So now it's time to take our group photo. So please make sure that you have turned on your camera.
Okay, Rasanka, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you. Today we have 4 proud alumni of the Department of Information Technology at the Faculty of Management Studies and Commerce at University of Sri Jayawardhanapura. The first alumni for the today's session is Ms. Savindi Baduge. She was in 2015-16 batch and currently working as software engineer at WSO2. So we warmly welcome you for the today's session, and we'd love to hear what you have to add for today's session.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for the introduction. So very good morning to all of you. So I'm really excited to be doing this for you guys today, and I hope everyone is staying safe and healthy physically and both like physically and mentally during these difficult times. So so basically I'll be like cramming up around 4 years of my more than 4 years of my life in 15 minutes. So do bear with me. And a small note before I get started, so I want to say like the things that I will be telling you are the lessons that I learned from my personal experience and my own career journey, my opinions and all of that. So feel free to just filter out whatever you like if you find them inspirational and if you think that they can be applied to your journey, right? So if there is anything that is unclear to you, so feel free to so you can interrupt and ask if you like, or you can reach out to me after the presentation as well. I'll put my email at the end. So let me start by sharing my screen. I hope I'm clear enough. Am I properly audible? I'm sorry, I forgot to do that check.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Awesome. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, you can see the slide, right? Not my presenter notes.
Yeah,
Bit messy. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so this is my journey to engineering. So let me start off with giving a small introduction about myself. So I'm Savindi Waduge and I'm 25 years old. And in short, I am a person who just loves to do things that I feel like I'm passionate in. And I also try to be a person who gives my best to like whatever I undertake. That's kind of what I have manifested myself to be. And also, I like being unapologetically myself, as you can see here in this picture. So that picture is actually taken in uni. I think this for some mini welcome organizing thing or something, right? Okay, so moving on to highlight on a few of my milestones. So so obviously I was an undergraduate at Japura and I was learning business information systems just like you guys. And so I believe there are first years, students from all years in this session, right? So anyway, so apart from all of these major milestones in my career journey, so I will highlight them. Like during my degree time, I did an internship as a software engineer at WSO2. And then after that, I graduated and then I became, actually, I became an associate business analyst at the Arimac. You guys may have heard of the company. And then also a business analyst and also a software engineer both at the same time as well. And then finally, right now, currently, I am a software engineer at WSO2. I'm actually specializing in the areas of UI and UX. So apart from this, I have supplemented my knowledge with BCS higher education qualifications. And also during my undergraduate life, I have also worked on brushing up my soft skills by being a part of ISEC. So that experience actually helped me a lot throughout my career journey. So I had a lot of self-realization moments by being a part of this organization. So for that, I am really grateful to have been a part of that organization. And I got to know like my strengths and weaknesses as a person, and I was able to build up on them. Okay, moving on. So let's start by asking ourselves, who do you want to become? I think most of the people are still figuring it out, even people my age and maybe even seniors. You never know, it's very difficult, right? But like in the earlier days, I was not the biggest fan of coding and programming, and I was not very focused on being a software engineer because in my head, I thought programming is like really hard because on the internet you see people like building robots and like making talking dogs and whatever all those groundbreaking things like which seemed very difficult to do, right? And I thought like it involved you to be a person who has done mathematics in school or something like that, right? So I come from a commerce background. Actually, I did commerce by levels. So anyway, but in software engineering in the IT industry, So software engineering is actually a broad area, right? So it can involve different roles. Like there are big data engineering, there's IoT, Internet of Things, and there's mobile development, game development, and there's the UI UX side. There's artificial intelligence, embedded engineering, etc., etc., etc. So many things that you can be easily overwhelmed with, right? So what we need to do as a person, especially as a person who is starting out, so you need to narrow your options down, and but like do get your fundamentals and concepts down first. So this degree is a great way for you to do that, because I believe, like for me, it gave me all the basic skills and fundamental knowledge that I needed to build up on that said foundation and experiment with my skills by trying out and throwing myself at different experiences and challenges, right? Okay, so so what I said earlier, so the first place where you work, right? So before all of that, like before trying to understand who you want to become, there are certain things that will shape you and that will help you understand like exactly who you want to become. So if I continue with this, like the first place where you work, right? So most of you guys will be working for the first time soon in your internship, I am assuming. So that is the first place you work, right? So ideally the internship. So it is somewhere you get exposed to the corporate world for the first time, right? And it is the place where all the things that you have learned all of these years, it doesn't matter, like even in school time, even your soft skills, all the technical things, anything that you have learned, you can apply all of those things into practice and learn how to progress in life, right? So how you utilize this very first point of your corporate journey is very important, and it should don't take it just lightly and expect people to be very lenient on you just because you're going to be an intern. Okay, so anyway, so as you can see in this slide, these are a few things that can be taken as things that will shape you and help you understand who you want to become. So let me start off with networking and people. So this is actually, I'm sure you have heard of this like all the time, like you need to network. But actually it is very important, right? Especially you realize that when you get into the corporate world and when you are like put into a place where you're all alone, right? But you can't really do things all by yourself in the corporate world. Although you do need to brush up on your skills by yourself, you can't really get things done by yourself all the time. So this point is very important. Even if you're not a fourth year who is not going to work as an intern, it doesn't matter. Like start doing this right now. Like always associate people with different attitudes, ideas, even domain knowledge, and even cultures. So understand what kind of options are available like through these people and networks, and be more self-aware as a person. So like expose yourself to these different attitudes and ideas and networks to know like what are the options that are out there and what kind of things that I will be interested in, right? So because like when you start working, you will not get the choice on whom to work with, and it doesn't matter if your boss is like someone who is always in a bad mood or something, because you really don't get a choice, right? When you get selected for a job, so you need to get your work done one way or the other. So you need to have good people skills and good networking skills to be an empathetic person and to progress in your career, right? So that is point number one. Yeah, okay. So the next point is personal branding. This is really important, especially as a software engineer. because so personal branding, it means like it is the kind of perception that you want others to have about you, and it really helps you progress in your career, right? So in order to build your personal brand, you can simply start by writing what you learn, right? Just, you can have a blog, right? So even on Medium, you can start writing free blogs, and you can teach what you learn to others, right? So you can work on blogs, you can even start to specialize on something that you feel you are very interested in. And even, you can start making videos on YouTube or something out of it. It doesn't matter how you express it or how you decide on how to teach it. Just what matters is that you work on building that brand for yourself, and letting others know the things that you are learning, and maybe specializing in a certain area that you like, right? So, and also you can work on creating a portfolio, like you can start by building small projects. So something that one of the biggest mistakes, and something that I wish I knew earlier, was like I would always just watch tutorials on YouTube, and I will only just watch them. But I didn't realize until later that only after I actually started coding, I open up the VS Code and start coding and see the result of what I have coded. That is when the actual learning comes into your head, right? So that is something that you get stuck in. Just an additional point that I added here. So anyway, coming back to the personal branding. So this is something you need to do to show your value to the organization that you will be a part of, right? So you need to create that value, and you need to build on that value of yours, because that is how people will recognize you, right? Like, for example, in my company, WSO2, so I am in the user experience team, right? So when somebody says like something related to some sort of a framework or a language, or a certain file in a repository, we always know, or even like a protocol or whatever that is involved, we always know like whom to contact and get some insights on, right? So that is the kind of personal brand that person has created for that himself or herself. So that person gives value, and that person is creating value for the organization, right? So that makes you highly irreplaceable. And so yeah, so it's really important in software engineering, because there are so much of knowledge available on the internet. I'm taking a lot of time for this point. Okay, there's a lot of sources available on the internet that you can learn, and if there is somebody who is more passionate than you, that one will grab your opportunity away from you, right? So always work on building your personal brand. And then the next one, I will combine the points: commitment to learn and skills. So software engineering, although it is a very broad area, has certain concepts and fundamentals that you need to learn to basically thrive in the industry, right? So this degree, of course, provides you with a great foundation for it, right? So it is up to you to build on that foundation and put it into practice. So this internship that you guys will be doing, most of you guys will be doing soon, is the best place to do it, right? And also your individual project as well. And so the people who will recruit you will not care about all the frameworks, libraries, or any of the decorative stuff that you know, especially when you start out as a junior developer. But they will rather check if you can understand these basics and have the passion to learn, because every company is different, and at first you will need to invest a lot of time on learning their existing technologies and code repositories before actually doing improvements and building new projects or products, right? So focus on getting the basics down first, right? So, and also, like, the best part about this industry is you do not need to be good at everything. So especially when you start out, as I said. So there are senior software engineers and even tech leads who still Googles things on a daily basis, right? So just don't be so hard on yourself. Okay, so the next one, experience. So I hope I can tell my story here. So I actually did not get the opportunity to interview when I first sent my CV via email. So by WSO2 as a company is something as I've heard it's a really cool company. I really wanted to get into that company. So what I did was I just simply Googled their general line number and just called them up and just asked, I want to apply as an intern. And I asked for an email. So they just sent me an email, and I remember like emailing twice or 3 times to them. And anyway, I got called for an interview. I believe I had brushed up my CV a bit as well those days, like with my soft skills and also with the GPA. So I hope that it will help. It helped for me to get that interview down, because that itself was a huge deal for me, right? So after I got the offer, I was very nervous to even accept that offer, because I knew I will be up against the interns from Moratua and IIT who have purely learned computer science or software engineering, and just people who have been coding ever since they were like a baby or something, right? So, but let me tell you something. I was not the biggest fan of coding until my 4th year, right? So because I had this misconception, I told that earlier. So, but I was wrong. So because, for my final year project, I got to explore different areas involved in web development, and I was also able to put my learnings into practice. And I was also able to put my learnings in, and like in the internship, right? So that was basically the point where I developed my passion for UI and UX, starting from the point that I did my final year project and then moving on to my internship. So I had to read a lot about things online, and then I realized that this is something I really enjoy doing, like when I'm actually putting the things that I learned into practice. And when I Googled and actually did it, I realized, okay, this is interesting. And like once you brush up your logical thinking, and once you practice, as Mr. Rafik Fernando said earlier, like you need to practice every day, right? In software engineering. So once you practice, you naturally become good at it. It doesn't matter whatever the domain that you're in. Once you practice every day, like you become naturally good at it, and you know how to learn new things by yourself, right? Okay, so coming back to the internship, I grabbed that opportunity anyway. I accepted the offer, not knowing what I am getting myself into, because WSO2 internship is known to be a very challenging opportunity, because it's an individual project that you get, and you need to work with their complicated code bases, very, very old, and you need to build it, right? So most of the times you will get exposed to all the stages involved in a software development lifecycle. So what I want to tell you is, you will never feel like you will be ready enough for something unless you start it. So what matters is grabbing that opportunity and learning and figuring things out as you go. Because unless you grab that opportunity first, you will never be able to at least get to that starting point, right? So yeah. My 50 minutes actually over. Is it possible for me to get some more time, or shall I continue, or is it okay? I think I will move on to the next slide. Any confirmation on this?
Yeah, how long would you take more? Sorry.
I'll try to wrap it out in around 2 minutes.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so finding the right balance, right? So finding the right balance between the two, passion and money, is difficult unless you throw yourself at different challenges and experiment and get out of your comfort zone. But like passion isn't enough. So unless you create a way to generate money out of it on your own, maybe come up with a startup or something like that, you need to be able to afford things in life and feel secure and have your needs fulfilled, especially in this economy. So software engineering ticks all the boxes when it comes to money. But one thing for sure is, if you do not do it with passion, you will not love it, and it will become a chore for you eventually, and you will not enjoy it. So you will actually not even feel like progressing in your career, right? Because you feel like the more you progress in your career, the more it will be difficult, right? So do start coding with passion. So yeah, these are a few principles that I want to highlight on. So do not focus only on titles, because you should always take titles too seriously, especially when you start out, whether it's a trainee or an associate, it doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the work that you do and the impact you make during your time. So always try to compete with yourself and not with others. And also there are so many career levels and dimensions in IT, right? So do not be overwhelmed by it. Do we learn it as you go? Nobody is expected to know every single domain involved in IT. Like learning is a continuous process, right? And there are like so many different companies. Like there are even companies that you didn't think of that are actually recruiting talent, like software engineers and people related to doing things in that sort. So there will always be opportunities for you guys. So do not be demotivated about that area. So not only that, we will have to work with people from so many different domains, right? So even if it's a project-based or a product-based company, when working with different software solutions, be it clients from different industries or even different sub-teams within the same industry, so it's definitely not going to be boring, right? There will always be something new to learn. These are a few things that I actually really want to highlight. So when you actually, even if you start out as an intern, these are things that you need to keep in your heart. So like always remember that how you got to this. Even if you eventually become a senior or a tech lead or whatever, just know that how you got there, and then treat others the way you want them to have treated you when you were starting out, right? Because it's always difficult. And always share whatever you learn with everybody, and specialize in, always be active, learn things, join development communities. Like especially if you decide to specialize on a certain area, there are certain communities that are available, online communities available, so you can join those, contribute to different discussions, even give solutions if there are issues anybody is facing, and even you can contribute to open source code, right? You can do so many things like that. Just keep working on your skills. Yes, okay, so sometimes it will feel like this when you're stuck with something in software engineering, but do not hesitate to ask for help in any company. So when you do get a job, even in the internship, do not hesitate at all. And when you do find the solution, you will feel so happy and even sleep well that night, right? So sometimes there are developers, including myself, who get like so mad over the code not working, only to find out that it was because of some small dot or a comma, right? So eventually we figure it out, right? So yeah, practice. As mentioned earlier as well, this is very important. A few minutes of coding every day. Just make it a habit. Just don't ever stop learning. So the journey is going to be extremely rewarding. So solving problems of people and making their lives easier is something that we do every day. So that is actually very rewarding, right? So finally, on a final note, I want you guys to like get out of your comfort zone all the time, and just do it anyway. Just hopefully, just like I did. I just grabbed whatever opportunities that came along my way, and without even being ready at all. So you don't have to be perfect. Just start it, and you will learn things as you go. Right. Thank you. So yeah, that's it for my presentation. I wonder if anybody has questions, or you can just simply email me as well if you like anything. I think the time will not allow me to take questions now. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you very much, Ms. Savindi Vaduge, for sharing your knowledge and experience. And it's really interesting to hear your story. So now I would like to invite another proud alumni of our department, Mr. Dulan Jairatna, currently working in Root Code Labs as a software engineer. He passed out in very recent batch, which was 2016-17 batch, and he was one of the president of our BIS IT. So, Mr. Dulan Jairatna, this is your time to address the gathering.
Hi guys, good morning everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. First, I thank all the lecturers and organizing committee for having me for the IT Career LaunchPad 2022. Actually, I really appreciate it. So I'll briefly introduce myself. So I'm Dulan Jayaratna, and I'm from 16-17 batch. And I'm currently working as a software engineer at Root Code Labs. So actually, I'm mainly working as a React Native mobile developer, Android and iOS. Yeah. So today I'm going to discuss about the software engineering field and how you start your internship as an intern software engineer and my internship story. So I'll continue this with our native and compatible language for your better understanding. Yes. මගේ කතාව ගත්තොත් එහෙම අතරම ඒ කියන්නේ මම පොඩි කාලේ ඇත්තටම software engineering field එකට ගොඩක් කැමතියි. So ඉස්කෝලේ කාලේ ඉඳන් first year ඉඳන් ඒ කියන්නේ මම කරපු දේවල්ට කිව්වොත් එහෙම කියන්නේ ඔය අන්තිමට software engineer intern එක ඒ target එක achieve කරගන්න මම first year ඉඳන් සමහරවිට ඇත්තටම වැඩ කරා කියන්නේ ඒක ආසාවක් තිබුණා, ලොකු ආසාවක් තිබුණා. First year ඒ කියන්නේ හම්බෙන හැම free time එකකම මොකක් හරි language එකක් කියන්නේ මම මුලින්ම languages දෙකක් study කරා, Java and JavaScript. එතකොට තියෙන හැම ඒ කියන්නේ හම්බෙන හැම free වෙලාවකම මොන හරි දෙයක් ඉගෙන ඒ කියන්නේ code ඒ කියන්නේ programming සම්බන්ධව මොන හරි දෙයක් article එකක් කියවනවා, YouTube එකක් බලනවා හරි. එතකොට ඔයාලටත් මේක ගොඩක් වටි මම හිතන්නේ මෙතන final students ලාට අතර first second third students ලා ඇති එයාලට ගොඩක් වටින් මේ කියන්නේ. ඉතින් මුලින්ම ඒකට target එකක් තියාගන්න. ඉස්සලාම ඔයාලා select කරගන්න ඔයාලා out වෙනවත් එක්කම මොකද්ද ඔයාගේ කියන්නේ out වෙලා ඔයාගේ මොකද position එක. ඒ කියන්නේ software engineering field එකට යනවා නැත්නම් BA QA ඉස්සලාම ඒක decide කරන්න. නැත්නම් ඔය ඔතන වැරදුනොත් අන්තිමට ඔයාලා intern එකට දාලා ඒක මට ටිකක් ඒක යනකොට ඔයාලා ටිකක් stuck වෙනවා නම් ඒක හරියන්නේ නැහැ වගේ හිතනවා අපරාධ වලගේ time එක. ඊට පස්සේ ආපහු intern යන්න ඕනේ තවත් position එක. ඒ කියන්නේ හිතන්න ඔයා BA දාලා ඔයාට BA වැඩ නැහැ මම SC යන්න කැමතිද? ඔයා intern BA 6 month ඉඳලා ආපහු යනවා කියන්නේ ආපහු SC යනවා කියන්නේ ඒක ඇත්තටම අපරාධ. ඉතින් ඒ time එක වගේ එහෙම select කරගෙන ඇති තෝරගන්න මම කියන්නේ first you have to learn program language. මම example එකකට මම කරේ Java and JavaScript and මම ඒ කියන්නේ තත්ත්වයකට ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් ඒ මට්ටමකට එනවා කියලා දැනනකොට ඒ languages වල ඔයාලට පුළුවන් framework එකක් practice කරන්න. මොකක්ද framework එකක් ඊට පස්සේ ඒ framework එකත් එක්ක යනකොට framework එක ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලට දැන් තේරෙනවානේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් දෙයක් කරගන්න පුළුවන් කියලා. ඒකෙන් පොඩි projects කරන්න. මෙතන පොඩි projects කරන්න. ඒකේ scope එක දාලා project එකේ පොඩි projects ඔයා practice කරන්න. මොකද ඔය practice experience කියන එක ගොඩක් වැදගත් වෙනවා software engineering field එකට. සහ ඔයාට intern යද්දී ඒ තියෙන interviews වලදී ඔයාලට වෙන බලන්න මම මේවා තමයි කරලා තියෙන්නේ මේ frameworks use කරලා තියෙනවා මේ languages use කරලා තියෙනවා කියලා ඔයාලට බය නැතුව පෙන්වන්න පුළුවන් ඒවා. එතකොට ඒත් එක්කම ඔයාලා select කරගන්න මට ඔයිට කලින් කියන්න ඕනේ සාමාන්‍ය software engineering field එකට යනවා නම් ඔයාලා languages ටික ඉගෙනගෙන framework එකක් ඔයා තෝරගන්න කලින් පොඩක් බලන්න ඔයා සාමාන්‍ය කරන්නේ front end දව කැමති back end කැමති නැත්නම් full stack යනවාද ඒක ඉස්සෙල්ලා decide කරන්න. ඊට පස්සේ ඔයා කැමති දෙක ඉස්සරහට කරගෙන යන framework එකක් තෝරගන්න. සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔයාලට front end වගේ යනවා නම් තෝරගන්න පුළුවන් React, Angular, එතකොට mobile කරනවා React Native, Flutter වගේ තෝරගන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට back end යනවා Node.js, .NET, Django වගේ select කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන්. ඒත් එක්කම ගොඩක් වෙලාවට free time එකදී ඔයාලට කරන්න පුළුවන් තව Git එක ගැන Git and GitHub එක ගැන ඔයාලට පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා බලන් ගත්තම ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට ගිහම ඔයාලට ලේසියි වැඩ ටික කරගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ පොඩි වීඩියෝස් තියෙනවා, ආටිකල්ස් තියෙනවා ඔයාලට කියවන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා කරන්න. ඊට පස්සේ අනිත් එක තමයි කියන්න ඕනේ වැදගත් දේ තමයි ගොඩක් කට්ටිය අහනවා මේ ඉක්මනට ඉන්ටර්න් යන්න ඕනේ. එතන මගෙන් අහලා තියෙනවා ළමයි කීප දෙනෙක්ම ඉක්මනට ඉන්ටර්න් යන්න ඕනේ. මෙහෙම හොයාගන්න බැරි වේද? එතන වෙන හදිස්සියෙන් එපා. ඒක ඒ කියන්නේ හදිස්සි වෙලා ඔයාගේ හරි ස්කිල් එක අඳුරගන්න නැතුව ඔයා ඉන්ටර්න් එකට දැම්මොත් එහෙම ඔයා ඉන්ටර්න් එකේ ඒ මාස 6 වන්නේ අපරාධයි. ඊට පස්සේ ආයෙත් වෙන එකකට යන්න. හරිද? ඒ කියන්නේ හදිස්සියෙන් එපා. ඉස්සෙල්ලා ස්කිල්ස් ඔයාගේ ස්කිල්ස් ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගන්න. ඔයාලා ටයිම් එක දෙනවා ෆස්ට් සෙකන්ඩ් තර්ඩ් ඉයර්ස් වලට ඕන තරම් ටයිම් එක තියෙනවා. ස්කිල්ස් ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගන්න. ඒ ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගෙන පස්සේ ඔයාලා ඇප්ලයි කරන ඉන්ටර්න් එකකට අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයාලා සිලෙක්ට් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ස්කිල්ස් මත ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙන ගොඩක් දේවල්. අනිත් එක තමයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉන්ටර්න් එකක් තෝරගන්නකොට ඉන්ටර්න් එකක් තෝරගන්න දැන් SC යන්න බයයි එතන ගොඩක් කට්ටිය. මම ගොඩක් අය අහලා තියෙනවා එහෙම. මෙහෙමයි ඉතින් බය වෙන්න එපා. ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩක් කට්ටිය කියන දේ තමයි මොරටුවෙන් එනවා කොළඹ යුනිවර්සිටිස් වලින් එනවා. ඉතින් එයාලත් එක්ක ඉන්ටර්විව් වලදී අපිට ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙයි එහෙම කරන්න අමාරුයි කියලා. ඇත්තටම එහෙම දෙයක් නැහැ. ඔයාලා හොඳට ඔයාලගේ ස්කිල්ස් ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගෙන ඔයාලා ඉස්සරහට ඒ කියන්නේ ගිහිල්ලා ඔයාලා ඇප්ලයි කරනවා නම් කිසි ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඒක මොරටුවද කොළඹුද ජෆ්නාද ඒවා දාලා නැහැ. යුනිවර්සිටි සහ ඩිග්‍රී එක මත ඩිපෙන්ඩ් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයාව සිලෙක්ට් කරගන්න එක. ඔයාගේ ස්කිල්ස්, ඇටිටියුඩ් සහ ඔයාට දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන් කියලා ඒක හිතනවා නම්. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා දැන් ඉගෙනගෙන ඔයාලා දෙයක් ඒක ඉස්සරහට කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් කියලා හිතනවා නම් අනිවාර්යෙන් ඔයාලව හයර් කරන ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි ඔයාලා ඇප්ලයි කරන කම්පැනි එකේ. අනිත් එක තමයි ගොඩක් අය අහනවා තව හැමදේම දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනද? හැමදේම දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනද? ඉන්ටර්න් එකක් කරන්න දැන් ඔය හයිස් කියන්නේ දැන් ඉන්නවා නම් ආමක් කර ෆ්‍රේම්වර්ක් දැන් හිතන්න ඔයා රියැක්ට් කරනකොට රියැක්ට් JS කරනවා. රියැක්ට් JS වල මම හැමදේම දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනද කියලා. ඉතින් එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. ඉන්ටර්න් කියන්නේ එහෙනම් ඔයා හැමදේම දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕන නම් SC විදිහට ගන්නවා. ඉතින් ඒ හින්දා ඒක එහෙම එකක් නැහැ. ඔයාට පුළුවන් තරම් ඒ කාලේදී ඒ කියන්නේ ඇකඩමික් කාලේදී ඔයාලට පුළුවන් තරම් ඔයාගේ ස්කිල්ස් ඉම්ප්‍රූව් කරගන්න. එතකොට එයාලා බලයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් එයාලා එක්ස්පෙක්ට් කරන මට්ටමක් තියෙනවානේ කම්පැනිස් වලින්. එතකොට ඒ මට්ටමත් එක ඔයා ඉන්නවනම් අනිවාර්යෙන් ආව ගන්නවා. ඒ කියන්නේ ඕ මොන කම්පැනි එකක්වත් ඔය හැමදේම දැනගෙන ඉන්න ඕනද කියන එක ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඒ හින්දා බය වෙන්න එපා. ඇප්ලයි කරන්න. අනිත් එක තමයි ඊට පස්සේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් මම ඇප්ලයි කරනකොට දැන් ඔය ටික කියලා මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ෆයිනල් ඉයර් ෆස්ට් සෙම් එකේ අන්තිමට වගේ තමයි මම ඇප්ලයි කරේ රූට් කෝඩ් ලැබ්ස් එකට. එතකොට මම ඇප්ලයි කරන්න කලින් හිතපු දේ තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ මේක මගේ පෞද්ගලික මම දන්නේ පුළුවන් තරම් ස්ටාර්ට්අප් එකකට යන්න මම try කරා. ඒකට හේතුව මම ඔයාලට ඉස්සරහට කියන්නම් ඒක ඔයාලට තේරෙයි. ස්ටාර්ට්අප් එකට යන්න try කරා. මොකද එයාලගෙන් හම්බෙන අපිට chance එක වැඩි වෙයි කියලා මම හිතුණා. responsibilities අරගෙන එයාලා අපිට ඒ කියන්නේ දෙයක් අපිට improve කරගන්න අපිට හදාගන්න projects වලට දායි කියලා ඉතින් එහෙම විශ්වාසයක් තිබුණා. ඒත් එක්කම root code lab select කරනවා apply කරා සහ එයාලා intern විදිහට intern SC කෙනෙක් විදිහට මාව ගත්තා. අනිත් එක තමයි ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලගේ ඒ කියන්නේ internship එක පටන් ගන්නකොටම පටන් ගන්න දැන් මගේ කතාව කියුවොත් මගේ ස්ටෝරි එක මම internship එක අරගෙන මම first මාව යාළගේ own project එකකට දැම්ම Xpub කියලා video call app එකක් එක. ඒකේ 2 weeks වැඩ කරා. 2 weeks වැඩ කරලා ඊට පස්සේ ආව Blue Lotus කියලා project එකක්. ඒකේ ඊට පස්සේ ඒ 2 weeks වලින් පස්සේ මාව ඒකට දැම්මේ. එතනම ඉගෙන chance ඒක තමයි main point එක උනේ. එතනින් ඒක එතන සම්පූර්ණයෙන් මට ඩෙවලොප් කරන්න හම්බුනේ ඉන්ටර්න් කෙනෙක් විදියට. එතකොට මට ඒක ලොකු චැලෙන්ජ් එකක් වුණා සහ ඒක මට chance එකක් වුණා මගේ performance වලට පෙන්නන්න. අන්න ඒකයි මම ඔයාලට කලින් කිව්වා දානකොට පුළුවන් තරම් ස්ටාර්ට්අප් ඒ කියන්නේ ඒක පොඩ්ඩක් බලන්න. ඒක මම දන්නේ ඒක මගේ personal idea එක ස්ටාර්ට්අප් එකකට ගිහම ඔයාලට තියෙන chances වැඩි. ඔයාලා responsibility එක දෙනවා යාලා. responsibility එක දීලා ඔයාලට perform කරන්න chance එක දෙනවා ගොඩක් වෙලාවට. ඉතින් ඔයා ඒ ප්‍රොජෙක්ට් එක කරන් යනකොට ඇත්තටම මම දන්නේ ගොඩක් දේවල් 70% වගේ මම දන්නේ නැති දේවල් තියෙන්නේ. ඉතින් මට උනේ ගොඩක් දේවල් ඉගෙන ගන්න සහ කරන්න. learn and work වගේ එහෙම සීනක් තිබුණේ. එතකොට ඒකෙදි ඇත්තටම hard work කරන්න වෙනවා. මම මේ බය කරනවා නෙවෙයි. ඒ කියන්නේ ගොඩාක් එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක නෙවෙයි නැත්තම් අපි ඉන්ඩස්ට්‍රි එකට යන්නේ. ඒතකොට ගොඩක් දේවල් දන්නේ නැහැ. අපිට self learn කරන්න වෙනවා. හැම දෙයක්ම වගේ අහන්නත් බෑ. අහන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම අවුලක් නැහැ. ගොඩක් සපෝටිව් ඉන්න කට්ටිය self learn කරන්න වෙනවා. ඒක හොඳට මතක තියාගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ අනිත් එක තමයි දැන් ඔතන එහෙම කරනකොට ඔයාලා හිර වෙන්න වෙලාවල් තියෙනවා. මුකුත් කරගන්න බෑ. මේවයි දැන් එපා වෙලා අන්න එහෙම වෙයි. එහෙම මම කියන්නේ හෙන්න කියලා. සමහරවිට එහෙම වෙනවා. එහෙම ලොකු රෙස්පොන්සිබිලිටි එකක් ඇවිල්ලා හැමොත් එහෙම වෙයි. ඒක මම කියන අර කලින් ඉඳන්ම කිව්වා ඔයාලා කැමති දේ කරන්න කියලා. දැන් ඔයාලා BA යන්න ඉඳලා SC යනවා නම් මෙහෙමයි මේක ගන්න හොඳ සැලරි එකක් හම්බෙනවා නම් එහෙම ඉඳලා නම් අන්න ඒ ටයිම් එක යනකොට ඔයාලා ජොබ් එක එපා. ඉතින් ඒ තත්ත්වයකට ඉන්න ඔයා කැමති දේ කරන්න. තමන ඔයා SC කරන්න software engineering side එකට එච්චර ගොඩාක්ම කැමති නම් කවදාවත් ඔයාලට කොච්චර හිර වුණත් ස්ට්‍රෙස් ආවත් කොච්චර මේ on time deliver කරගන්න බැරි වුණත් ඔයාලට එපා වෙන්නේ නැහැ. ඔයා try කරනවා. never give up. ඉතින් ඒක අනේ ඒක මම හිතනවා ඒක ගොඩක් important point එකක් වෙයි ඔයාලට during intern period. ඒ වගේම දැන් ඔයාලා ඉගෙන ගද්දී ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා learn ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි task එකකට මොකක් හරි මම මේක දන්නේ නැහැ කියලා ඔන්න ඒක හොයන්න ගද්දී ගොඩක් පුරුදු වෙන්න articles කියවන්න right පුළුවන් තරම් articles කියවන්න YouTube videos අනුගේ බැලුවට කමක් නැහැ ඒ වුණාට අර ගොඩක් coding පැත්ත ඉගෙන ගද්දී YouTube videos වලට වඩා articles කියවන්න try කරන්න මොකද ඒකෙන් ඔයාලට දැන් ඔයාලා හිතන්න ඔයාලා YouTube video එකක් බලනවා කියලා YouTube video එකක් බලනවා නම් ඒකෙන් ඔයාලා එයාගේ coding pattern එකට තමයි ඔයාලා හුරු වෙන්නේ. හරිද? එයාගේ coding pattern එකට හුරු වෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක් වෙනවා. ඒ කියන්නේ එයා හරියට කරනවද නැද්ද කියලා දන්නේ මොකද එක ගොඩක් දානවා. ඒ වගේ නෙමෙයි සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ආටිකල් එකක් කියනකොට ඔයාගේ ඔළුවට යනවා concept එක. ආටිකල් එක කෙලින්ම කියන්නේ විස්තරේ තියනවනේ ඔයාලා විස්තර කරලා කියනවනේ ඔළුවට concept එක නේද? එතකොට ඔයාලගේ own pattern එකකින් ඒක හරිය විදිහට කරන්න පුළුවන්. එතකොට කොහොමද මගේ internship period එකේදී projects තුනක වැඩ කරා. expert mobile කියලා video call app එකක් ගියා. එතකොට Blue Lotus එක wait app එකක්. ආයි channeling Mobitel එකේ online doctor channeling app එකක්. ඒකම 6 month ඉවර වෙනකොට වගේ after 6 month මම promote වුණා associate software engineer කෙනෙක් විදියට. ඊට පස්සේ ඒකෙදි projects දෙක තුනක වැඩ කරා. එහෙම ආපහු 6 month වලින් software engineer විදියට promote වුණා root code labs එකේ. so ඕක තමයි internship story එක. එතකොට මම ඔයාලට share කරන්නම්. ඒ කියන්නේ මම ඔයාලට කියන්නම් සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඔයාලා internship period එකේදී ඔයාලා perform කරනකොට ඔයාලා measure කරන්නේ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් measure කරන්න මොනවා වගේද කියන්නේ measure කරන points ටිකක්. Okay, let me share my screen. Hope you guys able to see my screen.
We are seeing the desktop.
First one is technical skills, right? ඔයාට අනිවාර්යෙන් වාගේ internship period එක ඇතුළේ
Dulan, excuse me, sorry. Dulan, we are seeing the desktop screen. I don't know whether the others, not the presentation.
Okay. I think now can you have seen it?
I still can the others see? I think Dulan's network connection is a little slow.
Yes.
Okay, can we, Adlan is back, right? Maybe we'll have to finish in 1 minute. Dulan, can we, I think your bandwidth is a little low. Can we finish in around 1 minute?
Yes, sir. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
සමහරවිට ඔයාලට ඒ කියන්නේ අනිවාර්යෙන් improve කරගන්න වෙන technical skills. ඒතර technical skills යට ඔයාලට තමයි current tech stack එක කියන්නේ ඔයාලා වැඩ කරන project වල tech stack එක ඒත් එක්කම domain knowledge එක project එකේ තියෙන domain knowledge එක and පුළුවන් ඔයාලට තව ගන්න පුළුවන් new tech research අලුත් දේවල් ඉගෙන ගන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ project එකකට අමතරව තියෙන දේවල් ඔයාලට ඉගෙන ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඒවා ඔයාලගේ measure කරනවා. intern period එකේදී ඒ වගේම අනිත් එක තමයි responsibility and ownership එක. ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලගේ තියෙන speed of delivery වගේ ඒ කියන්නේ ඔයාලා කොච්චර ඉක්මනට deliver කරනවද ඔයාලට දෙන වැඩේ කොච්චර ඉක්මනට කරනවද වගේ දේවල්. අතර මට time එක ගැන explain කරන්න ගොඩක් කළා. ඊට පස්සේ quality of work ඔයාලා කරන වැඩෙන් එන bugs ඒ කියන්නේ less bugs නැතුව පුළුවන් තරම් bugs අඩුවෙන් කරන්න try කරන්න coding standard එකට. ඊට පස්සේ best practices ඒ අර දෙනවා writing test cases and documentation ඔයාලට වෙනවා සාමාන්‍යයෙන් test cases ලියන්න වෙයි. ඒකෙදී jest වගේ library එකක් ඔයාලට බලන්න පුළුවන්. jest detox එතකොට සාමාන්‍යයෙන් playwright වගේ library එකක් ඊට ටෙස්ට් වගේ ලියනකොට ඒත් එකම documentation කරන්න එන්නේ වගේ තමයි quality of work කියන්නේ. ඊට පස්සේ team work. ඔයාලා තනියෙන් වැඩ කරනවා නම් ඒක ප්‍රශ්නයක්. ඒ කියන්නේ team එකක් එක්කන වැඩ කරන්නේ. ඒකම ඔයාලට පුළුවන් අනිත් කටට උදව් කරන්න. එයාලා මොකක් හරි help එකක් කරලා එයාලාගෙන් උදව් අරගෙන එයාලට උදව් කරලා ඔයාගේ වැඩේ විතරයි එහෙම නැතුව පුළුවන් තරම් අනිත් අයගේ contribute වෙලා වැඩ කරන්න. so අනිත් එක වැදගත්ම දේ තමයි communication. communication එකේදී not only English right. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් දෙයක් ඔයා එතනදි වෙන්න ඕනේ ඉංග්‍රීසි තියෙන්න ඕනේ අනිවාර්යෙන්. එතනදි වෙන්න ඕනේ ඔයා අනිත් එක්කෙනා කියන දේ ගොඩක් ඒ කියන්නේ පැහැදිලි වෙන්න ඕනේ. එයාට තේරෙන්න ඕනේ. ඒ කියන්නේ දැන් උදාහරණයක් විදිහට ඔයා project manager කෙනෙක් දැන් වගේ ප්‍රශ්නයක් අහන නිසා software engineer කෙනෙක් එකම ප්‍රශ්නේ අහනවා නම් ඔයා project manager දෙන උත්තරේ වෙනස් වෙනවා. මොකද එයාට technical part එක ලොකුට තේරෙන්නේ නැහැ. එතකොට එකම ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තර දෙකක් වගේ යන්න ඕනේ. ඔයා project manager කියන්නේ එක විදිහකට software engineerට එයාට technical part එක තේරෙනවා. එයාට ඒ ප්‍රශ්නෙට උත්තර දෙන්න ඕනේ තව විදිහකට. අන්න ඒ වගේ දෙයක් තමයි communication skills එක. language එක වගේම තේරුම් ගන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට උත්තරය දෙන්න ඕනේ. එතන මට time එක නෑ ගොඩක් මම හිතනවා ඔයාලා දෙයක් ගන්න ඇති කියලා. so good luck with your future. Over to you Rasangika.
Thank you Mr. Dulan Jayaranda for joining us today and sharing your journey with us. So next we have our third alumni for today's session, Mr. Sayanthan Padmanathan from 2014-15 batch and currently working as a software engineer at BIS. So Mr. Sayanthan, we are out to hear what you have to add for today's session.
Yeah, good afternoon everyone. So can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay. So first of all, I need to thank the lecture panel and our students to give me this chance actually. So first I will introduce myself. So I'm working as a software engineer at Wiley Global Technology at Sri Lanka. It's a global international multinational company. They are doing distributing research and other journal books to universities and schools all around the world. So first of all, I will start from my career experience actually. So to be honest, when I was joined as a fresh graduate at university, I don't have any idea like to become an accountant, because I am basically, as you all, you are from commerce team, I am also from commerce team. So your basic idea is to be an accountant, audit, those kind of stuff. But I also don't have any idea then. Our lecture panel actually gave an idea what you need to do actually to become a software engineer, and I got some exposure and got the interest actually. You need to have an interest to be an software engineer actually. So from second year onwards, parallelly I started BIT, University of Colombo. So that also helped me to gain some knowledge on programming. And so I started my internship at Potenza. It's a startup company actually. So as a software engineer intern, and 2019 So before finish my internship, actually they recruited me as a permanent software engineer cadre because of my performance. It was very helpful for my studies as well, because I got some money also. So then I worked as an software engineer at Sambat Bank, at head office software engineer for 1 year. Then I moved to Wiley. So here currently working as an software engineer specialized in RPA, like robotic process automation. So you may not heard about it actually because it's a new technology. So you can search on Google's and get some idea. It's a trending technology, like machine learning, artificial intelligence are going to be, it's now in trend actually. So you can get some idea on that. So that's my career path. And so in my university studies, I did some sports also. It also helped me to work as a team. So if you come to the industry level, like you have to work with a team. Some may not attend to the product when we especially we have some production issues. Some of your colleagues may be in a leave or something else. So you have to take care of that instead of him. So you can't be like selfish, like I can't do that, those kind of things. So you need to be improve your that kind of attitude also. So other than that, what I wanted to mention is, like, if you want to improve your knowledge in programming, start practicing. Not only go through the videos and uh, those stuffs. So you need to start practice, as before said, Ranjit said, and other two colleges said, like, you need to start practicing. You need to swim in errors. So when you get errors only, you need to identify the basic, like why we are getting that error. And you, when you started searching on Google and other stuffs, you will get the basic idea behind that programming, like why we are getting that error. So it will give you more opportunity to improve your concept on programming. It will helpful to be a leader, like you can be a leader on the basic concept. Then if you are good understand it, if you got a good understanding on basic programming, whatever the language you can learn. So first of all, you get to understanding on basic concept actually. So that's my advice to you all. So do practicing whenever you get time, do practicing. And so if you are working in fourth year internship, so not only with that, you may know about like Fiverr app. So you can do freelance activities. So I did some of the activities in my fourth year. So it helped me to get some financial thing also, like to maintain my university academic growth. So I did my some external Fiverr works also. So you can get some whatever you can do. Like you need to be not much professional. Like you can start from $5 onwards. So $5 is something big now, right? So you can use that as well. So don't do your internship period for to complete your subject, like credit, for the credit only. Use there, it's a valuable thing, like to when you pass out from the university, you when your recruiter is seeing your internship, what you gain from the internship actually. So use this as wisely. Whatever you can get it from the internship, get it. So don't do it for to complete that 6 months. So whatever the things you can get it internship, and select the internship place wisely. Like not go for like I'm not telling like you don't need to go for small companies. I'm not like, because I started in startup. So you can from a startup, but the position you are applying for, not for, if you're interested in software engineering, apply for software engineering, not for business analysis. So that's kind of position you are applying. It's very important. So that's very important. Like whatever the professional course. So after I joined in internship period, I did some certification that company has sponsored to do. So likewise, you can also do some certifications like to improve your career paths. Because another advice for you guys, like you or me, someone maybe, or most of you guys are mostly involved in Facebook and Instagram. Rather than, you can spend some time in LinkedIn also, so you can get some career opportunities. Mostly you will get career opportunities through the recruiters, so be active on that also. So you can also get some more information about the trending technologies. So that IT industry is like that, every year you will get new things, so you need to be updated. So learn, so that will help you in your career. Yeah, within that limited time I need to finish it. So yeah, that's from my side. If you have any questions regarding that, so I can answer LinkedIn, or I'm in LinkedIn, so you can. Yeah, thanks guys. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Sayanthan, so for sharing your knowledge and experience with us. So our final speakers for today's session is one of another proud alumni of our department, Ms. Shashini Vijay from 2015-16 batch, and currently working as associate software engineer, associate engineer technology at Virtusa. Sorry for that. And Ms. Shashini Vijay, this is your time to address the gathering.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sangika. So first of all, I would like to thank this organizing team for inviting me to this wonderful series, DIT Career LaunchPad series. It's been an honor to participate on this. So first of all, I introduce myself. I'm Shashini Vijay Singha, and I'm currently working as associate software engineer at Virtusa. As mainly I am working as in a Java platform and belongs to the backend development team. So I'll start up with how I joined to this degree program and moving on my story as much as in shorter way. So in 2015, I did my A-levels in commerce stream, and then this BIS degree is the very first choice of in my degree list, and luckily I got chance to enter into this wonderful degree program. And the reason why I chose this main reason is since I did my A-levels in commerce, and I'm kind of passionate person in IT field, so I need to learn both in one package. So that's why I choose this degree program. Now I'm really happy about that, about my choice, because this degree program gives me a diversified experience about the management field and also in the IT field. So in the very first 2 years of my degree program, I don't have any idea about how I'm going to, what would be my career in future and what's the job role I'm going to choose. In that period, I don't have any idea about that. I just searching out the opportunities available in there. But anyway, I know I will definitely go into the IT field because I'm really interested in IT. So in third year, we had the software engineering subject, which is conducted by external lecturer. And he also a software architect in that time. He's Krishanta Nayanayakara. I think we are the only batch who learned software engineering from him. So he's the one most, he gives me that inspiration to become a software engineer at that time. So I learned things from him and start up to build up myself to prepare myself to become as a developer in that time period because of that inspiration. So moving on, that time I learning things, and I learned the very basic from the very basic and go to the in-depth. So in 2020, actually I did my internship after my graduation. It's not for the requirement of for this internship requirement. I start my career after my graduation. In 2020, I joined Virtusa as the intern developer for Java. So in there, I directly put into the projects. So in that period, I don't have much experiences in the interview also, because I passed that interview also, because in there they ask things about that about all about this software process, and they ask me to explain how you are going, give me some scenario and ask me how you are going to develop this application and all. So because of this that knowledge I gained from this degree, I had that experience to explain that from the business process, like from the BA part also, I have that knowledge to explain how this process is going, and that that is how I get into that job also. So after that, I since I'm in Java platform, I first task they give me is writing test cases for software application microservices they are developing. So first thing I thought, since this is not development, this is just test case, I just think this is not development, like some things it's, I think this is not development, and I bit of think it's not, this is not what I'm going to do is. But after that I realized, since when I'm doing test cases, I learn the way that software was in, how they code these softwares, how they develop these systems and all, we learned from that. So sometimes it's not full development tasks you getting first as an intern. So it's some basic stuffs like writing test cases and all. But after 3 months, they started giving us some development stuffs like writing APIs and some sort of coding stuffs with senior developments. So we had great mentors and great supervision in my project. So that's led me to learn many things, because I had chance to work with many senior engineers and in that project. So that led me to learn myself. So I thought my life very much because of that great mentorships and there also. So luckily I got 2 projects to work at. Actually, I complete 1 year internship at Virtusa. So luckily I got 2 projects to work in there. In both projects, actually I'm working as a Java developer by profession, but whenever we are getting a lack of resource requirement for our projects, sometimes we also have to move into that front end development part. Sometimes we are moving to infrastructure parts. We have diversified experience in there, not only about our profession. So in that case, I learned thing that we cannot sticking into what we are learning in. Since if we learn Java, we can't sticking into that language we are learn. So we have to learn many things whenever we are working. So I learned Angular and I learned React for fulfill those requirements during my internship. So after that, when I'm completing 1 year internship, I got promotion to be this my current profession position, associate software engineer. So I got promotion to that level because of my performance during that time period. So that was a wonderful experience. So based on my career experience and based on what I learned, I like to give a few tips for you to start up your career as well. So from the beginning, Samindi, Dulan and Sayan, they explain many things. So I'll go some of my tips as well for yourself. So when we are learning many languages like Java, JavaScript, PHP, we learn many things. But what my suggestion is, you first learn one language from the beginning to in depth in that language. So if you learn one thing good in-depth knowledge, you can learn any language in any way. Whenever you get any language, you can learn anything in easy way if you learn one thing from beginning level to in-depth level. So that's how I did. I learned Java from the beginning and to the in-depth level. So then next thing is practice more as you can. So we can have many theory knowledge, but without having hands-on experience, practical knowledge, we cannot put that into action. So it's must to practice yourself, do some simple projects, like do small applications, do simple codings, like just do it as a hobby. So you will start to like it after you are doing it. So start your own Git repository and push your codes to that, and start your small project like that. Then you will gain more experience to build huge projects in your future. So that's must. Like Samini said, do some codings. If you are wishing to enter in the software engineering field, that's the main thing. You need to practice yourself and do some codings daily basis. That makes your self more practice, self more experiences, and you can easily go pass your interviews as well. And the third thing is there are many books regarding this software engineering stuffs, like Head First and Design First, and like there are many books related to this software engineering. So I suggest if you can read, I know these books are very large, it's like 700 pages large books available for this software engineering field. So I suggest you to at least read one book for 1 year and practice the things on that. It makes you with full of theory knowledge, and whenever you're practicing yourself, it gives you experience also. So what I suggest is Head First book series. There are many books available for Java, JavaScript, Head First Java, and design for defined patterns. They teach from the very basics. You can learn easily them. So I suggest that Head First books, for you can search with that whatever language you wish to learn, you can find those books. And the fourth thing is that's the final part. So whenever you are learning things, try to write on some blogs, right? That I also follow that. Like in medium.com, I write blogs about the things I'm learning. So if I forget, I may forget those things into 6 months, 1 year. I will forget some things, but if I go back to my blog, I can read it out and learn things from it. So that the fourth thing is, so just write out your things you are learning in some like blog, or it's in your self documentation, or anyway, any possible way you can write down those things in your in any place, so you can learn it after. If you forget it, you can learn it from there also, since it's done by you. So that's the all about. So first thing is learn the language from very basics, and practice yourself as muscle qualifier. So practice make you perfect. And third thing is try to read some books. And fourth thing is try to write a blog and things with which you have learned from there. So that's all about to tell you based on my experience. So over to you, Rasangika.
Yeah, Thank you. Thank you very much, Ms. Shashini Vijayasinghe, for sharing your knowledge and experience. And we are so grateful for you all again for joining us today, and despite having busy time schedule, and for sharing your journey, experience, and your knowledge. So I think this is the time for our Q&A session. If you have any question, it's time to you to ask them and clarify.
Okay, I just have one question. I guess I am expecting others to ask questions, but then in the meantime, I'll ask one common question. So I think both of you now during the original internship that you went, I think Shashini and Santhan, like, and since from then onwards, in terms of the remuneration, basically during the internship that you got as a intern during the internship course, what were your expectations, and was it matched by the industry? How did you negotiate that part? Can you share your thoughts? Like, in terms of, now they will ask you internship, most probably you would have given a fixed term, but then I'm trying to get an idea, because some of the one of the things that students usually have a bit of uncertainties about how much they get as an intern as their first salary. Those are two things. Maybe your thoughts on how you tackle this?
Yeah, so my idea was like when I was first joined as an intern to gain an experience actually. So not for money actually, it's because that was a good period you can learn, because you are anyway work as an study and work, studying and working. So on that time you don't have necessity to earn money, but after graduation you don't, if you are go for a work without money, you feel like something else, right? So this period you can work for work without money, but you can you need to get more experience and in that period. But actually in Sri Lanka, whatever the internship usually they pay actually for the IT industry, as I know, for the IT industry only they pay 15,000 as a basic salary for internship, for my knowledge, for the most of the companies. So don't get don't how to say, don't give more important to money in this period. uh, Money is you can earn after sometimes. So basically if you see down years or two, so basic salary if you are joining as an intern, not an intern, as a fresh graduate, for like 50,000. So it's a basic salary as a graduate. So you don't think about the internship salary, so you will get as a good salary in as an software engineer. So use this precious time for to get more knowledge on this and impress your um, managers, because IT industry is a short circle in Sri Lanka, so everyone is connected. So whoever is hiring from another company will surely ask from this company, because someone is working in previous company also. So and your attitude is very important while you are working in this company. So attitude, other than technical competencies, uh, attitude they should see, and they will see, because I have many experience. My manager said some of my friends came to interview, then they personally said like that his attitude is not good. So you need to have concern on that also. Yeah, that's my experience. My
Shashini, any thoughts?
Yeah, as Sayan said, the same thing is for me as well. Actually, I did my internship after my graduation. So what my main requirement is to get experience as well. Actually, so because during that period we only paid 50,000, and that in some may think that it is not enough for the works we are doing, but I get that advantage to learn things from the many experienced person during that time. That was the main thing I got during my internship. So it's not about money, it's about experience. If you get more experience, it gives you many advantage to get a better jobs in your future. So if you are not learning things, it's not gonna help you to get into best careers. So what I'm suggesting is, in your internship, try to learn things much as possible. Spend your time to learn things, and then you can excel your career into better levels after that. So spend your time to learning, it's not about salary, it's about experience and learning. That's about my thoughts. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, please put on chat. I think Dulan and I think Savindi had some meetings, so they have had to leave a bit early. If there are any questions, please move ahead. And before anyone questions, I think I have explained something that Shashini mentioned. So when in Shashini's batch, this was the time they were in the final year at the very onset of COVID. So we had an option where if there were challenges, we gave an option to do a subject called information system auditing and security in place of the internship. And I think Shashini was one of those who chose that option. Yes. Any questions, anyone?
So I think we have one question in chat.
Okay, sorry, I didn't see it. Maybe can someone? Yeah. Go. I don't see it for me. That's why maybe. Sorry, I see it. Yeah, there's a question. Yeah, there are three questions.
Yeah.
Can you? Yeah. Sorry.
So for the first one, currently what I am working as a specialized in RPA, and my future, my next steps to going to as a software engineer in AWS. My plans to move to IoT side. So I am working on some IoT side website, like someone's are ready. There's something called Reddit website, and some article. I'm not sure about the articles, but to say about the answer the next question. So software engineer has a stressful life. It's actually you have, because the payment you are getting and the workload you are getting is same as equal. So you need to manage both. So how I overcome is like, you need to have a communication with your teams. So don't work alone, like don't talk with your computers always, talk with people, your colleagues. So that and go out with every Friday, our company, like say Wiley itself, every quarter they give some money to go and enjoy. Like if you are 5 people in a team, they will give some amount of money to go and enjoy the day. Friday evening we will go out and enjoy. So you will those kind of things you can reduce your stress life. But actually, if you love the programming, those are nothing. So you can overcome this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all for today's session questions. So if you have further question, you can put them in a chat. Okay. Next up, I'd like to invite Nirosha Jayaratna to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Rasanita. Good morning. Good afternoon to you all. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of all the students, extend my most sincere thanks to the keynote speaker of our Career Launchpad episode 4, Mr. Ransit Fernando, Managing Director and co-founder at Forespin, who spared time from his busy schedule to grace the occasion. And thank you for inspiring and encouraging us with your valuable knowledge and experiences. And our sincere alumni speakers, Mr. Sayantan Padmanathan, software engineer at Wiley, Mr. Dulan Jayaratna, software engineer at Root Code Labs, Miss Shashini Vijayasinghe, associate software engineer at Virtusa, and Miss Savindi Vaduge, software engineer at WSO2. Thank you for providing immense support to make this workshop successful despite of your busy schedule. And I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to Professor Lasit Gunawardana for coordinating the Career Launchpad program. And a big thank you to our head of the department, Dr. Mahesh Fernando, and all the lecturers from the Department of IT for your cooperation in the institution of this workshop. Finally, I would like to thank all of my colleagues who have turned up from our department. Yeah, thank you so much for your cooperation.
Thank you, Nirosha. With that, we have come up to the very end of the episode 4 of BIS Career Launchpad 2022. So, and we will meet up again with the 5th episode. Till that, have a good day and stay safe.